this is Janine Hernandez from the Book Publishing Academy. Today's interview is with Miss Lafrieda Smith, one of the authors of the Book Publishing Academy. I'm super excited to connect with her today as she shares with us her story on how she became an author. Lafrieda, I'm so excited to dive deeper in with you today. Introduce yourself and let everyone know a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Lafrieda Smith. I'm also known as LJ. I'm a speaker, author, mentor, and autism advocate. I started my author journey about 3 years ago in 2020 during the pandemic. My family and I were moving, and during the pandemic, we were trying to find a house, which there was not a lot of houses, but during that journey, I was finally trying to find an outlet on how to distress myself. It could be very stressful during the home buying process, and I had a lot of anxiety. And my husband suggested that I write a memoir of our journey. And I said, a memoir. And he's like, yeah, write down what we're going through during our journey. And I did that. When I did that, what it did was it relieved a lot of stress for me because I could put it down on the paper, what we were going through. And even when I read it back now, it makes me laugh. Even though during that experience, it wasn't funny, and it was distressing, and it was upsetting for the five of us. We're actually able to laugh at different things that happened during that journey. So when I wrote this memoir, I said, well, why don't I publish this book? And that's when I found out about self-publishing. And one of the things that I was looking for was an easier outlet, for publishing my book. And one of the things that you don't know during self-publishing is that you have to market yourself. So for me, when I did publish my very first book in after the pandemic, which was buying and selling, it was amazing to me how much the information that was in the book helped a lot of people. Even now, I'm hearing people tell me, I use some of your tips that were in your book. And for me, I'm not a real estate agent and I'm not an expert, but there were certain things that, most people, the average person, needed to know about real estate, and we don't know. And we have to learn those things. So I said, well, why don't I put this in a book so that somebody else can learn it? And it's amazing when you write pages of things that you know about and have experienced, you never know who you'll inspire and who you'll help. So I actually got inspired to write a second book, and it was Beautiful Flowers, inspired by a dream of mine to have my own business and do things in the community, which is what I am advocating for. I'm an big advocate for community engagement. So that is mostly what I do now. And my book, Beautiful Flowers, entails that a young woman who is raised by her mother, and she wants to do a lot of things in the community as a person who advocates for other people and inspires others. So that's something that I had a dream about, and I wrote it. And when I did that, it inspired me to do the things that I'm doing right now. And for the last 3 years, I have been, doing podcasts and, making live appearances. And, it has brought me out of my shell, per se. And when I met Janine, Janine was telling me, she said, make sure that when you're on camera, that you don't worry about whether or not somebody's there or not. You just be you, just do you. And I did that. the very first time that I did that, and nobody showed up, I was devastated. And she gave me that pep talk. And after that, you can't get me away from a camera. So it's like, uh, it was an eye opener for me. So after that, I said, you know what? I'm going to dabble in children's books. And I've always wanted to write a children's book. Having three young children, I used to write children's books, on paper, and it never was published, but I would write my children's names inside the book and read it to them. And I've always wanted to be a children's book author. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use that now, do that right now, where my son, my youngest son, who is on the autism spectrum, who is a main character in my newest book, which is Top of the Muffin to You. He is Baker, and he is the inspiration behind making the Baker series for me. And my husband and I are co-authors on it. And one of the things that this helps us do during this journey of writing these children's books is we get to be kids again. Mm-hmm. And we love doing that. We get to, be those characters and experience being in school again, going on field trips, learning about different things and stuff like that, the excitement of being a kid again. And actually writing this children's book has opened so many other doors for me and given me so many ideas that every time I see something that, I think that won't be able to be done, I do it, and then that's it. Nothing is, I fear nothing. I'm right now, I'm, aspirating to be a speaker. I'm very passionate about being a speaker. Your words are what make an impact on people. So me speaking on stage is one of the things that has helped me during this book publishing journey. So it's not just about writing a book. It's about, finding your passion in, using the art of writing to inspire you to do something outside of this project that you're doing and this journey that you're going through. You never know. You can find a passion in something that you may have been scared of. And for me, I was scared of being on stage. I had stage fright. And I only learned through doing it, over and over, that there's nothing to be scared of. It's just that you got to go on stage and you just got to be you.
Yep.
Can't be anybody else but you. So if I was to give any advice about, the journey, take it one day at a time, take it slowly. And for me, wherever there's opportunity to get exposure, get exposure.
Yep. So, what I love about your journey is that you got started writing a memoir about your experience with buying and selling a home. It's something that just came to you of like, maybe I should publish this. And then you published it, and then you're like, maybe I should turn this into my career. And you did just that. So tell us a little bit, because I know that when you got started with the Book Publishing Academy, you had already published the first book, Buying and Selling. And what made you want to get signed up to the Book Publishing Academy? What helped you make that decision?
So one of the things that got me to sign up for it was, it actually was a dream, actually. I saw the book, Janine's post on Book Publishing Academy, and I had no idea. I didn't know anything about what Book Publishing Academy was or any of that. So, but, and it just was something that came to me in a dream, which most of my ideas come in a dream, surprisingly, which is unique. And when I actually saw the post saying, "Are you ready to do it?" And one of my things is all about doing things, not saying, doing, and the art of doing it, and putting things into action is what has driven me all my life. So if somebody's asking me, am I ready to do it? Comment below. I'm going to comment.
I'm
It's
ready.
like, I'm ready. So it's like, all you got to do is ask me, are you ready to do it? And the key word, do. That's me. That's me all day long. So that's kind of what inspired me. And at the time, it financially it wasn't feasible, but what I learned really quickly is if you don't invest in yourself, then you're just going to be floating wherever. It's you'll never get anywhere.
Love that you
And
touch on that. I love that you touch on that because a lot of people will hold themselves back and never take action towards their dream because they don't have the money, which is an excuse. Let's keep it real. But
yes.
I love because Lafrieda at the time, like she said, financially, she's like, I am not in a place to where I should be investing in this, but she knew the importance of what it was going to do for her if she did, and she did. And then she invested even more. She invested in her book. She invested in banners and flyers and graphics and all sorts of things. And then it just helped her. Like if you take the moment to invest in yourself, the return on investment is going to be so much bigger. And at the beginning you might not even see the return on investment immediately, but you'll start to see it as time goes on. And that's kind of what happened to Lafrieda. Like she had a soul star, and I would, like she mentioned earlier, I would tell her, well, show up on the live again, show up again, even if nobody shows up, show up again. And she just consistently was showing up for herself even when no one else was. And then it like flipped for her, where now, tell us a little bit about your experience now. Like what is the difference between when you got started to where you are now?
Well, Janine will tell you I was not doing lives. There was I couldn't do a live to save my life. And she would tell me over and over. I said, you gotta show up for your audience. You gotta show up for your audience. And I'm like, Janine, I'm scared. I'm scared. I can't do it. I can't do it because nobody's showing up. And she said, you know what? Remember, this is not for you. This is for them.
Mm-hmm.
So just talk to them, as if they are there. And that's generally what I do. Like when I do like my inspirational videos and stuff, there's no audience. You have to look at it that way. Like when you're doing your inspirational videos, you don't have to have an audience for that. When you post it, there'll be an audience. So just go with the flow, be yourself, and believe me, from where I was, where I just did not want to be bothered with the video camera, to Lafrieda can't get out of the camera
Can't get
type
off the
stuff.
camera.
I'm there. I mean, I've been on, Fox News. I've been, that very first time that I got on camera, and it was Fox 13, and it was by accident, actually. Me and my husband said, let's go to this meeting, local meeting. And I said, what local meeting? You don't go to local meetings. And it was actually for a development project that was local. And the commissioner and planning committee and all that stuff was there. And it was just for the Lakeland residents. And Fox 13 just happened to be there. And I was like, okay, they got a Fox 13 news camera. Yeah, okay. And then next thing you know, I'm making eye contact with the news lady, and she walks over to me and she says, can I interview you for a quick 5 minute 5 minutes about your about Lakeland and stuff like that. I was like, yeah. And girl, my hair was not on point. I don't know what was going on with my wardrobe, but I was not ready for the camera. But you know what? I took that opportunity and I did it.
And you get
And
ready.
yeah, you get ready.
You show
And
up.
for yeah. And one of those things was what the clip that they used for that interview, it wasn't even rehearsed. It just flowed out of my mouth. And then that's when I knew. I said, I am a person for the camera.
Yep.
That is just me. So after that, I was like, you know what? If anybody wants me to be on their podcasts or their lives or their whatever, and then the next thing I know, I'm on my TV 53. It's like they find me on my TV 53 because I was on Breaks on Books. It's like the possibilities are endless. So don't be afraid of the camera. The camera is one tool that you can use during your journey. And believe me, I did not know that getting in front of the camera would get me to this point right now where I'm speaking at graduations and on podcasts and doing all these things. I did not know this. And being an author, it's not just about writing the books, it's about your journey, sharing your journey with others and inspiring others. So that is what made me that word do, which is in my vocabulary, is that is what got me started with the Book Publishing Academy.
Well, and also right now, video, audio, like all of that is so important. It's not like before. Like before, you could just write a book and then that was it. But now you need the book, you need the video, you need the audio, you need all of it to get the movie. But you know what? So I really one story that sticks out to me. I don't know if you know this about Lizzo. So Lizzo, that song, I'm not gonna say the song because of copyright, but there's a song that she wrote, and she wrote this song probably like 10 years prior to it blowing up. And had she given up, she wouldn't have become the superstar that she is today. But she never gave up. She just continued writing, kept singing, all of that stuff. That one particular song that she had written 10 years ago ended up on a Netflix series, and that song blew up. Everybody knew who Lizzo was. Everybody was playing her song. Everybody loved her. Everybody loved what she stood for. And then now she's like this amazing superstar. She has multiple songs. She's making millions, like all of this stuff. So I say all this to say that it's the same with us, right? If we give up because nobody showed up, then that's the end. Like we draw the line in the sand of like, this is as far as I'm willing to go. But if we do what Lizzo did, where we just continue and we continue and we continue and we stay consistent, we just keep doing it over and over, repetition, even if it's 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, something that we did 10 years ago, someone's going to see it, right? Like your lives, when you go on live or you do a podcast, somebody's going to notice something from 6 months ago. And maybe that's going to be your big breakthrough. So I love that story when I had heard that about her, of like how that song that was so monumental in all of women, like all of the women singing the song, she actually wrote it like 10 years ago. So it's with us. And that's what I would preach to Lafrieda. I'm like, girl, just show up again, just do it again, just do it again. And now you were a keynote speaker at a graduation, right?
Yes. So I was my good friend. She was the director of the actual department, and she fell in love with me from the first day I was her work study student. Because I knew anything and everything about computers, and I made her life so much easier to run her department. And she was like, is there something that you want me to teach you that that I can give my advice, my expertise to you. So I was like thinking about it, and I said, well, I want to do more speaking. And at that time, I wasn't doing a lot of speaking. And she said, well, do you want, because she does a lot of like graduation speaking and stuff like that. But she uses a paper, and she actually writes out what she wants to say. She doesn't memorize it. For me, most of the speaking that I do, I memorize what I have on paper. But then when it's time to go out there, you have to kind of, make sure that you go the key points and stay on topic, and then, you know, uh, be prepared for like unexpected things, because everything can't be scripted. So one of the things she was telling me was that there is a different way of speaking when you're doing speeches. And that was something that was valuable to me. And she said, well, I'm going to give you plenty of opportunities to speak in front of people. And she said, just wait, and I was like, okay, I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. And then all of a sudden she's like, I see this invitation. It says LJ. And I open it up, and she's like, would you like to be a speaker? And I'm like, yeah, hello, yes. And then when I found out I was the keynote speaker, that just made it 10 times greater for me. That, the keynote speaker, when you become the keynote speaker and you're like the most important person, to speak, it's like, man, but I was ready. Yeah, I was ready. So when I did that, and she said that I did a great job with it, and I spoke for 14 minutes. That was it. And that's like a TED talk. And I'd never done that before, where I was like free. It was amazing how I did that, got my point across and my keynote topic in less than 15 minutes. And she said that, you did very well. And these, the graduates were, so grateful that you came in and told your inspiring story. And, they learned a lot about what you spoke about and stuff like that. And, I made the audience laugh and stuff like that. And it just was, it warmed my heart that I was able to do that for her and the students, and have that title, the keynote speaker.
Yep.
Especially beginning your journey, you're beginning your journey, you may not get paid, but those opportunities, you got to take those opportunities when you can, because you need that experience.
Yep.
Experience is a big part of it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Start your resume now.
So had you given up on that first live when nobody showed up, you would have never gotten to where you are now doing that keynote speak. So
right.
What would you say is next for you?
Well, you already know me. Wherever I can be my face can show up, I'm gonna show up. So you know me. So I just graduated from college. Yes. So now the community of Lakeland is going to be seeing a more present LJ in the community, shaking hands and getting to know people, networking, and spreading awareness and getting out there, speaking about autism. That's my next project.
I love it.
I'm just, and then I have another project, cooking in the works right now. I try not to jinx it yet, but I do have another project coming, and you'll be surprised that I'm doing it. You won't be surprised.
I can't wait to hear about it. Well, Lafrieda, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It has truly been an honor and a pleasure to see your growth from where you were almost 3 years ago to where you are now. And I cannot wait to see what all you're going to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years, what other news stations you're going to be on. I know that we're going to see your face, even more. So I want to thank you, honestly, for just being so coachable and for listening and for doing everything that I was like, hey, do this, do this, do this. And she did that and more. And then look at her now. So I want to thank you for being coachable, for being someone just amazing to coach. And it's just been a pleasure to see you grow. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for writing that post and saying, are you ready to do it?
I'm calling
And
you
comment
out.
below. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. I
Of
appreciate
course.
all your help
Now
so
I
much.
know, like in the future when I need you, I'm gonna call you out with the, are you ready to do this? But thank you so much, LJ. We appreciate you. And we'll see you all on the next episode of the Book Publishing Academy show. Bye, guys.
All right. All right. Bye.